Hello everyone, my name is PolishLynx, welcome back to Everlasting Summer, and we've met a cat girl. Yes, a cat girl. Alright, so there were voices, I turned around and Slav and Zen were slowly approaching the war stands. And you? But the girl had disappeared. Crap! Did you see it? Like I just needed someone to confirm the existence of this creature. Then I convinced myself that I'm not going crazy. What an irony to go mad while in the land of the Oz. For just arriving here is already a ticket to the Ioni bin. And even if I wake up right now, I still wouldn't be sure that it was all a dream. See what? The girls look at me blankly. Anyone beside me? I could hardly speak. So an illusion, huh? So I'm actually... You should get your head examined seriously. Xenia snorted and passed by. Slavia smiled apologetically and hurried after her. So, it's all that simple. Yeah, it's not that simple, I'm afraid. And that's just one thing now. For someone in this nightmare to believe that I'm still sane. This whole camp and its pioneers did not seem as real as yesterday. In the end, less than a week ago, I lived a completely normal life, an ordinary office style. And now, maybe everything happened made me think that all is going the way it should. That it's normal just to exist here. And now the last leftovers of my common sense desperately clung to this cat-like girl with the years, trying to prove to the locals that I'm not crazy. See, you don't exist, you. It's me in your tail, not you in mine. My head was about to explode. If not for the signal for dinner, perhaps I would have run to the library searching for medical books with lobotomy instructions. The canteen was crowded as usual. Some things never change. For the first time I look at all the local pioneers from a slightly different angle. Indeed, why is everything so correct? As if someone created this pioneer camp by carefully compiling material from the internet, without bothering to visit such a place himself. It was just like an old Soviet movie, the strict camp leader, the exemplary pioneers. Even Uliana. And even Melissa. All within the normal range. So where does that strange girl come from? She seemed like a smear of paint that just happened to be on the picture due to the shaky hands of a sloppy restorer. Electronic suddenly sat beside me. Hey there! He smirked. Hey? What are you thinking about? There was absolutely nothing wrong with speaking openly to anyone. Not anymore. Did you happen to see anyone strange here? Strange? Well, not quite human. I don't really understand. Electronic laughed. A girl with cat's ears and a tail. I said shortly. A girl with ears and a tail. He began to think. How do you know about her? Well, let's assume I saw her. This conversation was starting to get interesting. Let's assume, or you actually did. Is it really so important? Electron stared at me seriously. There is a legend here about a cat girl. She steals food, small bits, and pieces of stuff and avoids people. Really? A legend? So what does this girl look like? I never saw her myself. They say that she has a tail and ears, as you described. Okay, what else? Well, this legend is old, and I don't know much about it. Who do you know? Do you think knows more? I saw Olga Dmitrievna. She's been in this camp many times, even before she became a camp leader. Alright, thanks. I stood up and went to find the camp leader. I bet she decided to take a nap after lunch. Perhaps Olga Dmitrievna was the only element that was somewhat out of place in the picture of an ideal camp. She certainly was not a role model camp leader. I opened the door and confidently entered the cabin. And indeed, she was lying on the bed and reading a book, as expected. Semyon? Slacking again? Actually, yeah, but anyway. I wanted to ask you something. She stared at me and I hesitated a little. Maybe I shouldn't be so straightforward about everything. It was like my internal firewall had triggered and I just could not tell the computer that I had seen the cat girl today. Maybe I was quite used to hinting at something, avoiding straight questions, lying and keeping words back. In just 4 days. Although I guess I'd been doing that my whole life. Now, I was at the dinner, spoke with Electronic, and he told me a legend about a cat girl that supposedly lives here. He also said that you would know more. Why do you need to know that? The computer gave me a piercing look and stood up. Just curious. I like stuff like this. I tried to smile, but it didn't seem to make things any better. We have a completely normal camp. Sure you do. Completely normal. Don't even want to imagine what you'd call unusual. I suppose something with zombies and maniacs? So I guess like in Miku's Road. A nightmare on Sovyonok Street. Yeah, that would be actually a great title for that. Oh man. Yeah, I understand, but Electronic said you visited this place before. Yeah. The camp leader was thinking about something. However, there is indeed a legend that somewhere in the surrounding woods a strange cat girl lives, sometimes stealing food and small items from cabins. She's afraid of people, and if someone accidentally sees her, she runs away. That was quite different from what I saw this morning. That girl was more like watching me, standing, trying to understand, but not afraid at all. And you? Have I seen her? Oganitrevna interrupted me. No, I haven't, but I was quite close to doing so several times. Bottles, milk, tooth powder, and plenty of other things disappeared from my cabin sometimes. Mysteriously disappeared, without a trace. I'd completely forgotten about the fact that all the pioneers here do not actually exist, and just listened attentively to the camp leader. I was curious where this stuff disappeared to before. But in the end, there is no evidence of her existence. She smiled as if implying that this conversation is over. And if there was? Why are you so interested in this? Who wouldn't be interested in stuff like this? Though I still had many things to rack my brains for. I don't know. The camp leader thought about something for a second and then returned to her usual mother of all camps state. Well, seems like we decided to become completely laid back. Do something already. She paused and stretched herself in such a way that wrinkles that shouldn't even be there at her age came out. Go on, get down to business. Alright, I will get down to business. I will find an answer for my question. I just sighed and went out. All in all, no one from among the pioneers has ever seen a cat-eared girl, but only heard legends. Well, I should probably find her. I already recovered from this morning's shock events, and existential thoughts have by now stopped perjuring my brain, so it was possible for me to take a reasonable position, more or less. It was necessary because I still had a lot of questions. How did I get here? For what reason? Why? And where is this here? And that cat girl is the catalyst for it all. But I didn't want to start theorizing about parallel worlds, aliens, experiments, and the afterlife again. I was fed up with this after just my first few hours in this camp. Perhaps I just need to put aside the theories and look at the physical reality. Even if I assume that this world exists regardless of my will and I have to live here, my arrival here is inexplicable. It's more worthwhile to concentrate on studying this world and on analyzing possible events which may happen to me here. I'll do that until the opposite is proven. Until then, let's assume that I'm stuck here. For the long haul, it's not forever. The deck chair melodiously squeaked with my every movement. Lilac branches tried to strike me in the face, and the wild morning birds were silent for a long time, apparently tired of the summer heat. The treetops seemed like sharp peaks of the high walls of a medieval castle, lost in the boundless woods. And these cabins, the square, Genda's monument, the camp house building are just a little village of peasants, huddling near the millennial walls of a green fortress hidden in grove. And all of us here, either people like me or cat girls, are just servants of an evil genius hiding somewhere out here. There. It would be much easier if the camp was on top of a hill. Because 1,000 years ago, the best place for a fortification was always somewhere up high. True, probably that someone just has nothing to be afraid of. But in that case, he would not hide so carefully behind the treetops. I sighed and closed my eyes. My consciousness slowly started to desert me, and soon the whole world faded into darkness. What's going on? And again before my eyes, like an endless carpet, the road, surrounded by woods and fields, goes over on. The bus is going somewhere, leaving behind everything I knew, loved and hated. An unfamiliar girl is leaning over me and gently whispering something in my ear. I'm actually interested in what she is saying. Wait a minute. Oh, that she was the girl or the voice that was in the bus after one of the endings. And I think after one of the bad endings that was for sure. I think after Uliana's ending it was. But well, let's continue with that. But I can't hear her. I'm just watching everything from the side and can see everything except her face. And hear everything except her words. And feel everything except my own life. I woke up feeling like I was suffocating and began greedily sucking in air. My breath soon went back to normal and an intolerable thirst came upon me. But what was that dream all about? And who was that girl? Those questions again. Maybe I've already died and gone to hell. Can a human being feel that his life is now over and that he can just move on to the next stage of existence? My head was about to explode due to shock, such cosmic thoughts. What did I do to deserve this? I'm just an ordinary guy, not a philosopher, not a theologist, not a scientist. And I don't want to understand the substance of things, the way of the universe. I'm not asking for any more than just to live my life peacefully, and then doze off into an eternal sleep when everything is over. But no, I'm just trapped here. Tears of frustration welled in my eyes. And why is it always like this? I start to think that if I give it any more thought, I would either understand the substance of all things or go insane for good. Ultimately, it all started with a bus. I got in, went to sleep, and there was a girl. Perhaps one of the local pioneers, maybe even the cat-eared one. Well, why not? I can't rule a single idea out. So I'm here now. My thoughts stopped. Tumbleweed rolled back and forth in my brain, bouncing around the organ which kept my ears from falling off. And that's all. Now I'm here, in hell, heaven, purgatory, or wherever. Looks like I'm going to spend the rest of eternity in this place. For some reason I fixated on this exact theory. It's strange that I didn't care about the fact that a spiritual being doesn't have basic human senses, sight, hearing, touch. All in all, at first glance, there was nothing different from me from my condition a week ago. Well, except for being a couple of years younger. Then what's so bad about what happened? I might even consider this a second chance. After all, it's not that hard to get a job. I could rent a room in a hostel. I'm 17 now, I'm still healthy, my brain is in excellent state, my energy is at its peak. I might try to achieve something. But what had prevented me from doing so before? Was I really that old back then? I jumped like an old rifle, and without outside help I wouldn't escape this cycle of self-reflection. Fortunately, Lena soon appeared by the camp leader's cabin. Hi! I raised my eyes reluctantly and stared through her for a few seconds. Hello? She stopped, looked away and blushed. Well, never mind. May I have a seat? Sure. Lena perched herself on the edge of the deck chair. What are you thinking about? trying to understand the laws of this world. And how is it going? She asked seriously. Not too good. Perhaps they are beyond human comprehension. Then maybe you shouldn't bother. But what should I do? I just have to. Why? And really why? Does it happen to be of some vital urgency? I didn't really bother thinking about things like that in the past and lived in relative peace. And what has changed so drastically? I won't think about it now either and will be living in somewhat different conditions, but what's wrong with that? If there is no choice? I don't know. It seems that nothing is up to me. It looked like Lena wanted to say something, but she didn't. And you probably came to the Olga Dmitrievna? Yeah. I mean, no. But to be honest... What is it? Sometimes feel that way too. What do you mean? That nothing is up to me. I looked at her attentively. She was sitting with downcast eyes, nervously toying with a handful of field flowers, pale yellow like the fervent rays of the summer sun. Well, you know, these flowers, for instance, they were growing just for the sake of it, and then I ripped them out of the ground, and that's all. She was literally about to start crying. I didn't really fit my picture of Lena. Well, yeah. To be honest, I really don't know what to say. Well, so are we. We are ripped out, and then? She got up abruptly and rushed in the direction of the square without saying goodbye. Indeed, Lena, like all the other pioneers, seemed to be real. Not a figment of my imagination, not at all, not an NPC. A few hours ago I was sure that I am the only one who exists here. And possibly that cat-eared girl. I wish I could find her. I'm in a state of something like spiritual deprivation. All my senses are working properly, but I still have painful need to know why I'm here. As if the need for identity to find my place in this world, to determine its nature, laws and mechanisms, had become vital, just like the need for food and rest. It is probably the worst punishment for a human, to have the desire to understand something, but not the ability, to wish to change something, but to not have the opportunity, to strive for something, but to be unable to achieve it. I never seriously thought before, why am I in the world, how much time will I spend here, what do I have to do, and what will come next? Now, after encountering this other world, I have nothing left but to think about this. I guess that if it is possible to escape from here, I will return to my quiet life where I don't have such troubles. But I won't return. It's so hard to face a task which cannot be completed. If I could choose my fate, I would never agree to this bus, this camp, these girls. I would stay there, in my apartment, in front of the monitor. You can't demand anything more from a person that he can do. It's better to spend the rest of your life working the mind and trying to understand something that just won't fit your head. After all, there is no other way. Alright, let's end the episode here, because this monologue might be long. Hope you enjoyed it, and see you in the next one. Bye.